Time out, time out. You told me this story a couple weeks ago. You were preparing so that when, like, didn't you take a whole bunch and swallow it?
Yes.
As you were being arrested?
Yes.
That's wild. So, but God spared your life.
He did. He did. And I woke up in the ICU thinking, how am I even still here? Why? Why, God? You know, because I knew and he knew, my mom knew, like, she's right there, she'll tell you. The doctors told her there was enough stuff in my system to kill 3 grown men. I should not be here.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jorge with Full Circle International. We're out here in the streets, as we tend to do every Sunday evening, with a community action team from Place of Grace and Richmond County Rescue Mission called Follow and Fish. And what it is that we come out here, we have some strategic places that we go to and meet the people right where they're at. I'm here with my friend, Amanda. How are you, Amanda?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. So glad that you made it today. It's cold. We're actually, you may not be able to tell, but it's drizzling. But Amanda, Sunday after Sunday, I see you out here. And on more than one occasion, I've seen you come with a bundle of clothes. I can tell there's something that drives you to come and minister to the folks here. You're a blessing, and I know God is using you. What drives you to do that?
Well, like we were talking earlier, it's nothing done by my own ability. I've said it before, and I'll always say it. My story, God will always have the glory. He gives me the ability to come out here. He gives me the ability to keep putting one foot in front of another. And I talked with someone about this before. It just, I can relate. I've been out here. You know, it wasn't that long ago, just a few years ago, I didn't have nowhere to go.
Where you couldn't put that foot in front of the other like you can now.
Right, exactly. I was on every substance just about that there was, you know, and
wow, that's very, very vulnerable of you. Thanks for sharing that, because that's and I don't mean to interrupt, but you know, this is part of why I want to have these conversations with overcomers. Well, besides being a daughter and a princess of God, you're an overcomer. You got written all over you, and I want to hear how you overcame, because I think people need to know that no matter how deep that pit and how dark that pit that you're in, you can do it. So there was a point where you didn't have any traction in life. You were lost, and you started to talk about it. What was that like?
Well, my mom, she's actually here. I remember calling her and my dad and telling her and my dad that if something was to happen to me, I made everything all right with God. And this was 2021 maybe. I was contemplating taking my own life. I've always been diagnosed manic depression, suicidal. But I was planning this thing out to the T.
Now the diagnosis, was that pre-drug substance abuse, or did you get diagnosed after you started doing drugs?
No, this was in 8th grade. I was in Lumberton on the 3rd floor in 8th grade.
I'm assuming that's a hospital, the unit in the hospital where people are dealing.
Psychiatric ward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not for long, but for a short time. So I had this label from an early age.
And by the way, so that hits me home, like hits hard. 8th grade. You know why? Our camera girl, my beautiful daughter, she's an 8th grader. So I can't imagine you at that age with the pressure and this weight of confusion and the whole weight of the mental anguish, right? Which I'm assuming was a mixture of depression, anxiety, and all of that, right?
Right. But like I was saying, I told my parents that I made everything all right with the Lord. I was getting in trouble, in and out of jail. I've been in and out of jail for years now. I mean, so many I've lost count. And I had an ankle monitor on my leg for probation. I cut the ankle monitor off, and I was keeping enough fentanyl on me so that whenever everything went down, I had it in my mind. They had it one way, but I was checking out.
Time out. You told me this story a couple weeks ago. You were preparing so that when, like, didn't you take a whole bunch and swallow it?
Yes.
As you were being arrested?
Yes.
That's wild. So, but God spared your life.
He did. And I woke up in the ICU thinking, how am I even still here? Why, God? You know, because I knew, and he knew, my mom knew, like, she's right there, she'll tell you. The doctors told her there was enough stuff in my system to kill 3 grown men. I should not be here. And from there, I was handcuffed to the bed. I went to county jail. Then I went back to prison. This is my second time. I went to prison several years ago whenever my oldest son was a baby. And I started really seeking and searching because I knew the way. I was just in a backslidden position.
Did that woman right there show you the way growing up?
She did. I think too, I have to give some credit on that part because her and my dad both have overcome alcohol addiction, and my dad's overcome alcohol and drugs. My mom's overcome alcohol and gambling, and again, all glory be to God. But I think from an early age, really, I can remember going to a funeral once, and I came back from that funeral. I must have been no more than maybe 7 years old, and I said, man, I don't want to die and go to hell. And I can remember in my backyard crying, and my cousins were picking at me, and I was like, I'm gonna die and go to hell. I've never been baptized, I've never been saved, and they were picking at me, but I was crying out to the Lord, please, I don't want to.
I think that it's when the Lord reveals himself to a young person's life that the enemy goes, uh-oh. And then he kind of puts it in 6th gear to come after your soul and destroy you. And I'm speaking from experience, and I'm also hearing it from you. Wow, there's so much more that I want to ask about your journey, your pilgrimage. And so I asked you not too long ago, when was the last time that you resorted to fill that void inside of you by consuming chemicals that were essentially going to kill you? When was the last time?
That was right before the hospital bed. That was March 30th, 2022.
So 3 years. What would you tell the person watching today that is in active addiction, in that dark, deep pit? They feel hopeless. They feel like they've done too much. They could possibly not. God couldn't possibly forgive them. That they can't get out of the place they're in right now. What would you say to that person?
Well, the word will tell you, you have to lose yourself to find yourself. And whenever you finally lose it all, and you're finally at that place where you say, okay, what now, God? And you really surrender, and you really seek him, because he said, if you seek him, you will find him. And then once you find him, you start realizing that he fills every void. And once those voids, you start making a list of, loneliness, anger, and anxiety, and all this and that, and you start getting rooted in the word, and the word gets in you, and you start quoting scriptures and just repeating it over yourself, then you realize that there's not a void that he can't fill. There's not a valley that he's not going to help you through. There's not anything, nothing is impossible with God. And he is close to the brokenhearted. He said that we would have trials and tribulation, but he said we've already overcome them all through him. And so if we just hold on, every day is not the same. But if you just really let go and let God, and they're like, oh, I've heard that so many times, but it's true. And it is a harder walk than it is a talk, but that's why it's a walk. You can't run. You just have to step by step, day by day, second by second. It's an everyday thing. Yeah. But he's with you. As long as you know he's with you, he's never leaving, then what do you have to worry about? What's out there pressing so bad that you can't get through it, because I was a suppress it and forget it person. And now I'm like, man, there's nothing ever going to be able to feel me like he feels me.
Amen. There's nothing greater than to be able to face your problems, your troubles, your pain, your wounds sober. The bills that are stacking up sober.
Yes.
You know, the world, the sky is falling, the earth is collapsing, sober.
Exactly.
And yes, like Amanda said, he's overcame, defeated the world. John 16:33. I love that verse. Amanda, I would love to sit down and we're gonna chop it up more once we get our podcast going, where we can, you know, maybe even get a little more intense as far as. Here's what I ask people: what broke you? Like, what was that one event that broke you? And I want to be able to sit down with people and have some raw, real conversations, because I think that's what the world needs. The world needs to hear truth, not wishy-washy, you know, therapeutic stuff. No, this is the gospel of Jesus Christ, and the truth will set you free.
And speaking on that, he didn't just deliver me off of fentanyl, meth, coke, pills, alcohol, cigarettes, and gambling addiction, sex addiction, all those things. I have not yet been back on a doctor's prescription, and that is nothing but glory be to God. No Suboxone, no antidepressants, no anxiety, none of that. So I know that he's still in the miracle making business, because I know I shouldn't be here, and I shouldn't be able to say I'm sober. And whenever I say I'm sober, I am sober. And the word says, be ye sober, over and over. That verse stood out to me so much while I was in a prison cell.
Paul says that quite a few times in the New Testament. Be vigilant and sober. And so, but I'm also reminded, man, that was powerful, by the way. The camera girl was nodding her head. Listen, you got your mind restored. Because if you're anything like me, and I know you are, and like anyone who's not just dabbled, but, you know, lived that life of chemical abuse and substance abuse, we got to the point, I'm sure I'm speaking to somebody to that you thought you heard voices. You thought that you were just too far gone. You thought that you were insane. All the lies. Satan's cookie cutter with everybody. That's what we need to understand, is that he's not only the father of deceit, but he's not going to throw anything new that he hasn't thrown to anybody else. That's right. So our minds have been restored. So if you're watching today and you're listening, your mind can be restored. Your body can be restored. We believe that. You heard it from Amanda. Amanda, man, it's been so great talking to you. I was ministered to. Were you ministered to also, Eliana? Yeah. And this is what God does. If he did it for her and he did it for me, he will do it for you. Hey, thank you so much, sister. We'll talk some more, all right? Yeah, you bet.
All right, thanks.
God bless you.
God bless you.